Hello friends, how are you? I'm your instructor Imran, and today we are going to learn about the Flutter background services or the Flutter foreground services. What is the difference between it and how to implement in Flutter for the iOS and the Android. First of all, let's see the demo of it. So you will see that whenever we will run our application, it will show us the allow back service to send you a notification. Like this is the name of our app, and it will ask us to allow the notification. So let's allow it, and then this message or the screen will appear, and now you will see our application, our notification, our foreground service appeared now. If I just click on the background service, and you will see something is happening in the background. If I click on the foreground, you will see some notification is noticeable to the user. If I click on the stop service, you will see the service has been stopped. And if I just click start service, and you will see that our service have been stopped. And if I just remove this one, and still you will see our service is running. Click on it, and you will see that again our app have been working, and it is opening. So if our application is closed, our service is already running. Okay, so let's do this, but before this, please subscribe my channel and press the bell icon. Before moving forward, we have to learn what is a service. So service is an application component that can perform long-running operations in the background. It doesn't provide a user interface. So for example, you are going to perform some operations like downloading, like playing music, but you are not going to interact with the specific page of your application, then you will follow the services. So mainly there are three types of services. The first one is the foreground services, then there's a background services, and then there's a bound services. So what is a foreground service? So foreground service performs some operations that is noticeable to the user. For example, an audio app would use a foreground service to play an audio track. Foreground services must display a notification. Now, in the background service, a background service performs an operation that is not directly noticed by the user. For example, if an app used a service to compact its storage, that would usually be a background services, just like a downloading. Then the third one is a bound service. A service is bound when an application component binds to it by calling the bind service. A bound service offers a client-server interface that allows components to interact with the service. For example, send request, receive results, like it will just come from the API, we can say. So, in the Flutter, what we are going to do, we are going to integrate the Flutter background service. So, we are going to use this package. You will see the definition of Flutter plugins for executing the Dart code continuously even application closed. So, how we can use it? First of all, I have just run one application and create a code there. You will see that I have three files there, the home page and then the back service.dart file, which is empty for now, and we have to write the back services or the foreground services code there. And I have the home page, which have only the column and the three buttons there. The foreground service button, the background service button, and then button for the stop service or the start service, which will be conditional. So you will see the output there, the foreground service, background service, and the stop service. Before moving forward, you have to read the documentation also of the Flutter background service, and you will see for the Android, your Android build.gradle have the class path below 7.1.2. So you have to make ensure that, like in the Android, you have to go to the build.gradle folder, and you will see the 7.2.0, which is also acceptable. So after this, then there's a wrapper.properties gradle, and the gradle wrapper.properties, there should be a gradle version is 7.4. Okay, so minimum. So I have also this one, so you will see that 7.5. So everything is good. And then for the iOS, what you have to do, if you have to specifically put these lines for the iOS also. Okay, where we have to put the is runner info.plist file. Okay, so so in the info.plist file, you can copy these lines, and then you have to post it here in the runner in the info.plist file. Here I have already defined the key and the string for this. Okay, so after this, we have to go to the pubspec.yaml file, and here we have to write, and where we have to implement all these dependency in our project. The first one is the Flutter background service, and if we are going to run the service for the iOS, we have to write the iOS package library, for the Android this one, and this is the permission handler where we have to check the notifications of our if our app is running, then we have to perform some specific operation in the foreground, and this one specifically for the Flutter notification. So all these are necessarily okay. So let's go to the back service dart file, and here let's write some code. First of all, let me create one function that could be the future, and this could be the void. Okay, and here now I just need to write a function, and that function could be the initialize service. So this one. Here I just need to create a variable. Sorry, this is not a variable. So let me call here a service equal to final background, Flutter background service. So this one. So after this, I need to call the await, and I need to configure our service. It needs only two function, the iOS configuration, it needs only two parameters, iOS configuration and for the Android configuration. These are very simple. For the iOS configuration, put the iOS configuration, and for the Android, put here the Android configuration. So for the Android configuration, we have mainly two things. One is this on start function, which I'm just going to create here, void on start function, and you will notice that this on start function needs a service instance. So let's put here the service instance and just call here the service, and and then this issue is resolved. And if in the foreground mode, I just put here the true. It means that when our application will run, our application is also supporting the foreground mod. Okay, and then I can put here the auto start functionality there also. Let me call here the auto start true. It means that our foreground service will be auto started. Okay, so for the iOS configuration, we put here the same thing. First of all, I can write here auto start as a true, and then is maybe it have something like on foreground. What we need to call on foreground, I just call here on start function again, and on background I need to make another function. So let's create that function, and we can write the name of that function. Let's suppose on background, like whatever we can write. So on background, so this is still not created, so let's make this function also. So we can write here this function, and this function have been created, but you will see that this function needs a type of future bool. So let's make here a future bool type, because its type is now bool, so we have to return the true. So after this we need to make here the async also. I hope so it is like but this also needs a service instance, so let's copy this service instance from here and paste this one also here. After this I just need to ensure that widget flutter binding dot insecure initialized, and also dart plugin registration dot initialize. Why I'm going to use this one, make sure that the dart plugin registration has been called for the isolates. So it means that dart has some specific code which will run on the specific thread or on the specific isolate. So this can safely be executed multiple times on the same isolate. It means that when we will on the foreground service, so there will be a one isolate or one thread will be called, and which will be on the on which will not be on the root isolate, because our root isolate is the main thread, and this thread will be run on the other side. Understand? So before this I need to make some more thing, that is the pragma, and pragma will call the specific code. Let me write it: vm colon and then entry slash point. Okay, so this means that maybe this line can get the specific a native code, or from the iOS or from the Android, which is the Swift and the Java, will get the native code and will implement the code here in our Dart project. So I'm just going to copy it and pasting it here also. Now we have to make this function, and we have to write something here to make our function implementable. Let me put here the async first of all, and after the async I just need to call the dart plugin here also, and after this I need a simple thing, putting the if here, and I just call here if service is Android service instance, and here I just need to call I just need to call here, if the service is Android service instance, then I just need to make some listener. So I just call here service dot on. Okay, here I just need to write what a simple built-in like one a value that could be the constant value, which will check if the service is in the foreground or in the background. So I just need to call the foreground dot listen. This is a stream subscription, so which will check if we every time adds a subscription to the stream. So it will check every time if our app is in the foreground or in the background. Okay, so here I just need to call here now service dot set as a foreground service. After this let's copy it and paste it again, and let's write here set as a let me put here the background service, and here just put here set as background service. Let me copy it again. So after this if I just need to paste it again, but for now I just not using this one. I'm just calling here the stop service value, and it will also listen it, and we don't need this one, so I just call here stop self. Okay, I hope so you understand this one. If is the Android instance, so it will call the set the services as a background or a foreground, but we put here the background. So let me put here set as a foreground service. So after this, when we will switch from foreground to background, or we will like starting our service, it will take a little time. So we it is better to use the timer and timer dot periodic. So timer dot periodic needs one duration, so let's put here a duration and put here second one. So now let me call here the const modifier, and here we need to write some more functions there, more code there. Let me put here the async also. I'm going to repeat the code. I'm just putting here service is Android service instance. I can call here now again if await await I can call like service dot is foreground service. Then I just need to call here maybe service dot set foreground notification info. It needs a title, so I just call here the script academy, and then content could be the background or sub my channel, like this thing. Okay, save it. So after this, when we will done everything, after this one, let me call here the print statement, and then I just call here the background, not here. Let me sorry, let me cut it from here. After this, let me print out anything which I want to run on the background. So I just call here the background service running. Okay, now after this, maybe I can also like update or check our service whenever dot invoke update function. Like I just call here the update functionality whenever the service is in the foreground or in the background. Here you can like make any operation, perform some operations on background which is not noticeable to the user every time. So this is the better definition for this. Now this is our initialize service on iOS background on start. Everything is perfect. We need to go to the home page now, and let's make a Flutter background service. Then I just need to call here invoke. Okay, so what I need to invoke here, I just need to invoke the same thing that I just did done here, like set as a foreground. So let me copy it and paste it, this one. Let me copy it, and for the foreground service let me do the same thing for the background service also, sorry. So but we need to use the set as a background constant value, so it will match and it will do the things for us. On the on press functionality, let me put here the async, and here I'm just going to copy one more thing, that is this variable that I have created, and now I'm just going to create here one more thing, that is running equal to await service dot is running, if our service is running or not. Now let's put here if is running, then what we need to do, and for the else what we need to do. Perfect. It needs some more like configuration, so don't worry about this. let me go towards the completion of this project, and then I will tell you. So what I need to write here, if service is running, we have to stop it, understand? So what I will write here, I will write here service dot invoke, and I will write here stop service. And for the else part, let me I think so we just need to write here service dot start service. Okay, after this, let me call here the if else again. If not is running, I just need to make a text as a stop service. And for the else part here, I just call here start service. After this, let me call here the set state also. Okay, so everything is ready till now. After this, we have simply one thing left, and that is, let's go to the main.dart file. And because our main is the async, so first of all, I just putting here the widget flutter binding dot insecure initialize, and after this I just put here like the permission for the notification. So you can put here also, and you can also create the init state here, and you can create the notification permissions also there. Okay, so for now I'm just going to show you one example. So let me remove this one, and let's write here the await and call here the permission dot notification dot is like denied. If this is denied, so I just call here dot then, and this then needs any value. So after this, here I am going to write here if whatever the value it has, I just call here permission dot notification dot request. And the last thing that we have to use the await and initialize our service. So this is that's it. Let me close our application, and now let me restart it again. So run this application again, and let's see what it says. So it's running, and let's see how it looks like. We have to check it, and let's see, does it needs for, oh perfect, so it needs for the notification, it asking for to access, to allow for the notification. So I'm just going to click on the allow, and you will see the Script Academy and Sub My Channel, it's working perfectly. So now if I just click on the background service, and you will see that the background service is running, and you will see this message is also there, and you will see the notification is also not appearing now for the background service. If I just click on the foreground service again, and you will see this, you will click on the stop service, and you will see that it is like the start service, and nothing appears there. Click on the start service, and you will see that. That's it. Perfect. I hope so you enjoyed the lecture. Subscribe my channel and press the bell icon.